How's everybody doing? Y'all can talk to me. How's everybody doing? All right, good. I was thinking walking down the hall there, I was thinking back when I recruited T.J. Yeldon. I think the final selling point on him was we said, hey, TJ, you know, Coach Saban don't let the freshmen talk to the media. And he was like, well, I'm all in on that. That's kind of the way it is with the coaches. No disrespect to you guys, but I'm excited to be back. You know, I grew up in Rainsville, Alabama. It's 2 hours from here. My family's still there. My wife's family's in Troy. It's very easy for us. Got a lot of fond memories here at Alabama. I think this is my 10th year counting as a player, a graduate assistant, and 6 years with Coach Previous. This year would be my 7th year with him. Alabama's very special to me. It's easy to walk into a young man's house and to sell the University of Alabama. When you grow up in this state, you kind of got to pick a side. And in my family, I chose Alabama. My dad chose Auburn. So, but I think I'm trying to bring him on our side now. But I'm excited to be here. You know, the first day that I came back, I think it was maybe December 11th or 12th. It happened to be graduation. So I've been gone for 3 years. I walk in here and it's actually graduation. A lot of guys that I had spent a lot of time helping recruit, watching these guys graduate. I walk in and I look and I see some of the parents I hadn't seen in 3 years. So it's kind of what this place is all about. I'm very thankful for Coach Saban, you know, starting out as a high school coach. You know, a lot of guys ask me when I go speak at clinics, how'd you get where you're at? And to me, it's really a stroke of luck. I just try to do the best at the jobs that I had. Very fortunate that Coach gave me an opportunity. And worked in a lot of different roles here, you know, from the weight room to academics, player development, just doing what I could to try to help the organization. But learned a lot of football in the 6 years that I was here before. Coach gave me the opportunity to be the defensive back coach. And I'm very thankful for him for that. You know, when I left here 3 years ago, I went to Florida State and was real easy transition for me because Jimbo Fisher had worked with Coach Saban. The practice schedules, his philosophy, everything was very similar. You know, and for me, for a first job as a defensive coordinator, that made it really easy. Got to work with some really good people, really good players. We won a national championship from there, going to Georgia, working with Coach Rick. Probably for the last 2 years, I learned as much about being a man from him as anything. Very thankful for the opportunity that he gave me. The one thing about in this business, about moving, you get in this business to have a positive impact on kids. My first job, I tell guys in recruiting, you're probably not going to find any defensive coordinator in America that his first job, he was a K through third grade PE teacher. Done that for 3 years. You're just not going to find that. And you know, my family has a history of educators, and to me that's what it's about to players. But unfortunately in this business we do have to, there is transition, you know, so that's the tough part. But it was good to get back, to see some of the old faces, the Ryan Andersons, the Dalvin Tomlinsons, Big Shank, just guys that kind of involved in recruiting. So it's fun. It's fun to be back in the building. Unfortunately, there's some folks that were here before that's not here now. Yeah, every day I see Miles, may get a little emotional here, but I see Miles, you know, name on the plaque there. So, excuse me, I'm sorry. But you got people that poured into this program, so this means a lot to the people in this state, and it's a very special place to me. We've got some changes on our defensive staff. You know, Carl Dunbar will coach the defensive line. Tosh Lapoy is still here coaching the outside linebackers, and Derek Ansley is now coaching the defensive backs. That's 3 guys that the first thing they're going to do is put the kids' good intentions. I mean, everything, they're going to make the kids work hard. They're going to buy into the program, and really good guys. I think we got a good staff here. You know, talking about this year's defense, this is a 2016 defense. It's not 2015, 13. 9, 10, this is 2016. Our kids are they're buying into the fact that we've not done anything. And, that sometimes, I was here before when we had some success. We won a championship in 9, and the next year we couldn't hardly get over ourselves. 2011, we had a little better transition after we'd experienced it before and understood the growing pains. We've got to get over ourselves. That's over with now. So we're trying to create our identity for this year's team, creating the right practice habits, the right mental toughness, being relentless competitors. We have experience at all 3 levels on our defense. We got some guys coming back on the defensive front. We got some guys at outside linebacker that's played a lot of games, inside linebacker, and we got some guys in the secondary. But we're trying to create some depth on our defense right now. And one thing that we keep stressing to these guys is nobody cares about what plays you made last year. It's all about this year. So we're starting every day talking about just 1 rep at a time. Let's get better, 1 rep at a time.
We'll start over here with Aaron.
Hey, Jeremy, you were able to help Georgia's pass defense turn around pretty quickly there. What's your philosophy on pass defense, and how aggressive do you want to be on that side?
Well, one thing when I went to Florida State, we had very similar players. When I went to Georgia, we'd lost a lot of guys. We played with some young guys, so we had to find ways to kind of not do like we did here. We had to find ways to kind of cover up a little bit in the back end. We had some good pass rushers. But the big thing is defensively, you got to know what to do. Okay, you got to know what to do. You got to know how to do it. And you got to know why it's important to do it that way. And don't let the offense create explosive plays. So you got to stay on top of your guys. And we kind of covered up some guys there.
Back on the other side with Matt.
Jeremy, even though some of the guys on the defense haven't necessarily been full-time players yet, how much overall ability and talent do you see on this defense, and what kind of potential do you feel like this group has?
Well, there's guys here that, like I said, has got some experience. To me, as Coach Saban, when he recruits guys, he's looking for the right intangibles. There's a certain criteria for each position, and the guys wouldn't be here if they didn't meet, those criteria. The thing is, there's a transition from high school to college, and some guys, it's immediate, it's easy for them, and some guys it takes time. Some of that has to do with the position you play. But football is a developmental game, so you got to go out there and work on the fundamentals to get better.
Stay back there with Cecil.
Coach, hey, you, I guess inherit is the right word, coming back. A couple of guys who could have gone pro last year in Jonathan Allen and Tim Williams. What do you see from them looking forward, and how does that change your defense that they came back?
Well, there's been a history here in the last 10 years since Coach has been here. There's been several guys that's had opportunities to go out for the draft. And to me, that says a lot about Coach Saban and how he treats his players when these guys decide to come back. If guys wasn't happy here, wasn't excited about being here, and wasn't buying into the process, it would be easy for them to go ahead and take the money. So to me, that says a lot about the program here.
Okay, we're going to go right here in the middle with Alex.
Jeremy, with some of those guys, Tim and the speed coming back, just how dynamic can this pass rush be this year, especially after last year's leading the nation in sacks?
Well, a lot of that has to do with the quarterbacks you play, type of offenses you play. One of the things somebody asked about the pass defense, some of that can be kind of swayed a little bit based off the offenses you play. You play some triple option teams. It can sway your run stats or your passing stats. But, there were some guys who had success rushing the quarterback last year. Some of that goes into getting guys in the right down and distances. So you got to play well on first and second down, and you got to cover them in the back end, because if guys are running open, the ball's going to come out of the quarterback's hand.
We'll go in the back with Chris Walsh.
With Coach Saban, obviously the scheme doesn't change, but it seems like each coordinator kind of has their own thumbprint on
what the defense does or the offense. What's going to be your thumbprint? How's it going to be different?
Well, this is Coach Saban's defense. Everything in this program is Coach Saban's. When I left here, went to Florida State, I installed the defense that I learned here. As a coach, you got to take your little wrinkles that you've learned over time, and every year as a coach, you're looking to improve. That, to me, that's the one thing about that coach is so good at is he's okay to change. Now, there's got to be a reason for it. You know, the offenses kind of change a little bit, so every year as a staff you do quality control and you're trying to find ways that you can make your defense better. When I come back, there were some subtle changes on the defense that had happened here since I've been gone. But as far as thumbprint, to me, I hope our thumbprint here is we continue to have the success that we've had.
Last one up here with Ken. Why don't you? Yeah. Up here with Ken. Last one.
Hey, Coach, just kind of a two-parter. One, what was it like last year to prepare for Alabama's offense? And then how competitive do you anticipate, some of these scrimmages being and just the daily grind, in camp here?
Well, being on the other side, one thing that stood out to me is last year with how big the offense was compared to us. And the thing about it is a lot of people can have success, running the football offensively, but you got to be able to do it over and over. And to me, that's one thing, being on the other side playing against Alabama, the commitment to run and having to sit in there and stop them play after play after play, which we didn't do. So they can kind of change the way you think a little bit.
Okay. Thanks, Jeremy.
Yep.